Well then, welcome to Tuesday night of Masters Week. This is Draft for Upside. We are in the cup. Johnny Danger, Brewery Mark back for the first time in a while, and my man, Adam White. How are you, fellas?
Wonderful. How about yourselves?
Doing all right. We got a little gula. I like that. That's what's in his cup. Mark, what's in your cup?
I am about to pour a Edmonds Fitzgerald.
I like it.
Is that Great Lakes Brewing?
Great Lakes Brewing, yep. And I am rocking this delicious grapefruit Spindrift sparkling soda. It's delicious.
Very spring-like. It was a beautiful day today.
It was a gorgeous day. I was out. I'm actually wearing a jacket because, down here in Georgia, it's a little chilly. But, Yeah, no, the basement, the kid accidentally turned the air conditioner on to like 65, and in the basement, that means it's like 42. So, yeah. Oops.
Lovely.
So, yeah, man. Well, I forgot to update I didn't forget. I saved over our intro. So you got to see the first draft of a iLogic Media commercial. How was that, Adam?
I thought it looked pretty good. A little whiskey
right.
in history.
Yeah, coming up on Monday night. That'll be nice. If you missed it, Tony Sincata on Monday nights, he gives you a single entry insight into this week's Masters, and he's going to join us here at some point. So it'd be great to see him. And, of course, all the other great shows on ilogicmedia.com. Got to go check it out. But right now, fellers, we're talking about the Masters. And as we bring Tony's almost here. There he is. Tony, just in time.
How
are you, sir?
Oh,
Fashionably late as usual.
yeah.
Well, the Tony Sincata, everybody else said what was in their cup. What's in your cup, Tony?
I don't even have a cup. I was trying to get online.
That's okay. I'm drinking non-alcoholic sparkling grapefruit soda. It's good for you.
Oh.
Yeah.
If you believe it, I believe it.
I love it. All right, Tony. Well, we were just about to kick it off here, but how'd you do last week? Did you do all right last week at the Valero Open?
Yeah, so 6 of 6 last week in the lineup we gave up in the single entry lineup. And in the one and done, I had Mr. Spieth. So it was a very good week. And lineups littered with Charlie Hoffman there. But it was interesting. Jason Hadley and Charles Schwartzel making the cut and being in my lineup was something I'll never say again.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. I got 5 of 6 through. I finished, I think, 8th in my big tournament. Not enough to make a splash. And Adam, I don't know about the Valero Open, but you scored pretty well last night in college basketball, I saw.
Valero Open was okay. I didn't do a whole lot of gambling. I had a couple of DraftKings lineups that I had 5 out of 6 and 1 with Charlie and Tringale. We've been riding those guys for seems like months now. But yeah, last night was good to me. I had a feeling Baylor was going to take him down. Just Gonzaga hasn't played some defensive dogs like that, and it paid off.
Yeah, man. I was just afraid of flop lag. I don't know if Mark and Tony are familiar with flop lag, but that's when you have like a king jack in your hand, and it gets busted down, and then the next hand the flop goes king jack jack. I call that flop lag when you had the nuts for the hand before. So I was afraid of it. So I've just been playing Hoffman and Tringale every week. It finally paid off.
It's been good all spring. Last week it was great until Tringale's weekend wasn't very good. But we don't need to talk about that.
All right. But right now we're going to talk about the Masters. So we did a little talk last night. Tony, I saw your show. Very good, of course. And Ab and I jumped on a little bit as soon as you were done, kind of, and did a little breakdown of how to build our model. And we'll talk about that as well. But why don't we go ahead and do the course breakdown? Adam, are you ready for that?
Absolutely. This is a course I have actually been to. Never played, but I have been there for the Masters. Course is playing just under 7,500 yards now, tipped out. They are going to throw around some different tee boxes. You'll see like hole 3, the par 4, will be up a little bit at times, so it becomes drivable, more of a risk-reward type par 4. But the par 3s are, I think, an underappreciated part of this golf course. Hole 4 is playing at 240 to the middle this week. A lot of long par 4s. All 4 par 5s are reachable. So we'll get into our par 5 scoring and why we like that stat so much. But it's a beautiful golf course, rolling fairways, not a single blade of grass out of place. And the greens are incredibly quick and undulating. So putting does play a little more of a factor this week. And in particular, guys who have played these greens year after year after year and kind of know those little subtle nuances to the Augusta National greens. So we'll get into it, but pretty traditional 4 par 5s, 4 par 3s, 10 par 4s, and a lot of par 4s in that kind of 440 to 500 range. So we'll discuss that a little bit more, but that's a decent breakdown of the golf course and some water on the back 9, man. There's some risk coming down the stretch with Amen Corner, and then hole 16 has some water on it. So a lot can go wrong or right for you down the stretch.
Yeah, and this is Augusta National, right? So, and it's in beautiful shape. This is what we expect from a Masters. Easy fairways are super easy to hit. Greens are super difficult to hit. So we'll get into our favorite stat later. Also, the other thing about the Masters is these players are not allowed green books. So experience pays off a lot, especially on the putting surface.
Definitely.
And this is not the Masters from November where the course was soft and easy to hit.
Exactly. I was going to say we should definitely note that. And also it's top 50 in ties. It's an invitational tournament. So not as many players as your traditional week where it's 150 plus, but top 50 in ties make it. 10-shot rules out of play. So I think even with that being said, you're going to see a lot of 6 out of 6 lineups. So it's important to have some high scorers and or high finishers this week.
Yeah, I think the most overrated thing this week is if you look at it, 86 golfers and 50 make it, and you're saying, oh, you know what? If there's really only 60 golfers in this, you can throw 25 names right out before we even start based on past winnings. So you do have to have 6 and 6. You do have to have 3 guys in the top 10, I think, in big tournaments to actually put up a number that's going to bring home money.
Definitely.
Yep.
I dig it. Well, guys, as we usually do, let's go ahead and pull up some DraftKings pricing and just start breaking it down.
Break it down.
Let's see if I can get this in now. Like, I feel like every week I have to reteach myself how to share shit on this screen. But there it is. Don't be jealous of my big fat $20 balance there, Tony. Don't be jealous of that. Don't be jealous of that.
Hey, at least you have a balance. Most people don't have a balance.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and take it right from the top. I mean, we got this really nice grouping up here in the 10s. We've got Dustin Johnson, Rahm, DeChambeau, Thomas, McIlroy, Schauffele. Really nice. I mean, it's the Masters, right? Come on. It's the Masters. But the truth is you're really going to be able to get one of these guys. You're going to really dumpster dive if you're trying to get 2 of these guys. So if you're concentrating on just one in the 10,000 range, Tony, where do you start?
You know what? It's crazy for me because I listen to a lot of shows during the week, and I can't believe that this guy is not going to be one of the most owned. I think a lot of people will look at course history. I think you talked about it. There's no books here. Course history is played well. And there's not a guy with better course history than Dustin Johnson, right? Dustin Johnson won in the last one that we put out there with the soft course. But beside that, he hits top 10s every single time he plays. And even though he's struggling, he's won 5 times in the last 10 months. And we're disregarding him because he's had a couple bad rounds lately. And it's amazing to me. I think he'll be owned by less than 15%. I am going to pay the money for Dustin Johnson.
You're right there, man. Currently looking over at Fantasy National, he's about 11.8% projected ownership, and at the same in lineup building, what the actual lineup generator is spitting out. So, yeah, man, I mean, you're going to take the number 1 player in the world at 12% owned. He's down like 25th in the field in ownership. I'm all about that. Adam, what do you think?
Yeah, you know what? I initially this week, just because it was recent form, I wasn't excited about DJ, but I mean, the guy obviously can dominate the course like nobody else. When he's on, nobody can touch him. He's just that guy that If he's on his game, you're not beating him.
And there's plenty of value in this field to reach up to that 11.5.
There is. My initial instinct was Rahm. He's finished top 10 here his last 3 events. You got JT, who's going to be very high owned in this price range. He's trended well every year. He's finished better the last 5 years, and obviously just won the Players, so he's playing well. But I'm kind of with you, Tony. If I'm going to get an ownership discount down at like 11-12% on DJ, and maybe it's even 15%, but if he's the 3rd or 4th highest owned guy up top, lock him in. We can find value down below.
I told people on the show last night, I'm like, you know what? You listen to all these shows and people have great advice and they dig real deep. Here's what I'm going to tell you. It's the most common sense thing in the world. If you have the best player in the world being owned by less than 12% and people worried about the last 2 months when he's won 5 times in 10 months, throw him in the lineup. He's had 2 weeks to prepare for this.
I like it. And Mark, of course, you and I were kind of going through our model. We like pretty much the same thing, as we almost always do. And the top guy in this field here for us is going to be Bryson, according to our model. Is that where you at? Are you sticking with that, or are you on the Johnson train? Oh, Mark, you're muted. You're muted, Mark.
The Johnson train. Maybe.
I apologize. So there's a couple different approaches that I am taking, but my Bryson is in my main lineup this week. With Bryson, it's risk reward. He's the most volatile player. If you tell me someone up here misses the cut, I'm going to guess it's Bryson. If you tell me someone up here wins by 5 strokes, I'm going to guess Bryson. So, I'm going to definitely have some Bryson. And if you look back at the last couple of millionaire makers on the Masters, the winning lineups had 2 of these 10K guys in the lineups that won the milli makers. So we're going to talk about him in a moment, but this is where Jordan Spieth comes in, because this pricing came out before he won last week. He should be a 10K player. So I have a lineup that matches DJ with Spieth, and that's kind of my 2 10K player lineup going into this.
Yeah, we can get into Spieth, but first I want to know, Mark, you've been absent from the show. You've been busy with work and other things. How much has it absolutely killed you to watch Jordan Spieth kick ass like every week when you aren't here to tout him?
Yeah, well, at least I'm winning money with him, right?
Tony, I don't know if you know this, but there doesn't go a tournament by that has Spieth that Mark doesn't bring him up in this show. So I know it's been really hard for him not to be on for the last month.
No, it's interesting because my big money lineups do have Spieth and Johnson in there, so I'm interested to see how similar we are. But I want to talk about DeChambeau for a minute. I think this is a guy that has, of course, the most power in the world, and long hitters excel here. But DeChambeau's a guy that I think when it's rough and everything isn't clean and pristine, he takes advantage of it with his power. I think it's more about having touch play around the hole and being able to get out of some of those long drives in errant places, more to a Spieth like than DeChambeau. And I think he's actually, this is not the course to suit him.
Yeah. I mean, you got a great point there. One of the things that really worries me about Bryson is his putting. And like you say, he's very precise. And how does he do this without that green book? And we've seen in the past, he can power through stuff, but he gets those greens, and if his putting's off, he's missing a cut.
He's been putting well though, and to me, I look at last year as kind of the November Masters. I look at that as kind of his way to test out the course with his new strategy of just trying to bomb and gouge it. And he's got a couple par 4s that are reachable, and then he's got par 5s that legitimately, if he hits good drives off the tee, he's going to be hitting wedges into. So there is something to be said. Some of these dog legs don't suit him as well because he can't just bomb it over the corner like he could at certain events like Bay Hill. But I actually like Bryson this week. I'm not sure. I believe the ownership percentage, he's supposed to be 15-16%.
Yeah, that's where he's at.
I think that'll dip a little bit by the time the week actually starts. So I do like Bryson as a second guy in that true 10K range.
I just think there's so many of these holes that these four par fours he's going to be playing as par threes, and the rough isn't penal. So what if he misses? I like him a lot, but I'm starting to get talked into this Spieth and Johnson train. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, and one other one we haven't talked about yet is Rory. Now, I know Rory's recent form hasn't been good, but I mean, over the last few seasons, he's been in a top 5 PGA player. He can win this. All he has to do is put together that final round, and he's there. Right now, he's at 10-2, and his ownership's at 12%. So you're getting a 7% discount from JT on ownership. So I mean,
here's my deal on Rory, right? I ran my model, right? And I ran my model. The number one golfer was Rory McIlroy. And I was like, damn, I watched this guy play. I can't get excited. Talk about having a tough time putting. He's having a tough time. I just threw out my model after seeing him being number one. But everything you say is valid. And you throw in the numbers, right? All the categories we need. Rory McIlroy, in the last 24 rounds, even though we think he's struggling, comes out number one in my model.
Yeah, plus you get the leverage of ownership. It's a great play in a big GPP.
Yeah, I can't do Rory. His last 24 rounds, he's 31st in approach, which is pretty pedestrian for him. 51st around the greens and 76th putting. And he's also just historically not a great player at Augusta. He had a couple events where he really contended early on and faded, but I can't jump on the Rory train. I haven't seen enough from him the last year plus.
So where he made up his ground in my model was driving distance, birdies are better gained, and shots gained 2 to green. And he comes in third, second, and second in those.
That's fair. Yeah, the stats always look good on him. I worry about his putter.
Oh, yeah, I'm not playing him. I'm just saying I'm looking at my model and I'm in disbelief.
Disagreeing with your model. It's not a good start to the week.
No, I agree. I'd like, you know what? I always go, every once in a while, you got to throw the computer against the wall and get a new one.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it moving, guys. Let's get down into this 9,000 range. We all are pretty much, I mean, I know I'm on Spieth. It sounds like Tony's on Spieth. Sounds like Mark's on Spieth. Adam, you are never on him when we are on him, but are you going to make it 4 for 4?
I just don't see how you don't. I don't expect him to win, but I also don't see many scenarios where he doesn't top 10 as well as he's playing, as much as he loves these greens, this golf course in general. Unless he just is worn out from climbing that mountain and finally getting back to the top, and then this week he can't get back up for it. But I have a hard time seeing that because it's freaking Augusta. So definitely,
he's got great course history here, even through all the years that he was really struggling. He does good at Augusta, and right now he is on top of his game.
This course just fits his eye. He loves the greens. A guy that I love, who I wouldn't have been surprised if he was in the 10K range, is Cantlay. Cantlay might be my favorite guy in this top 15 players or so.
Yeah, I'm with you on Cantlay, man. I'm gonna fade Tony, man. I'm gonna keep fading him. I think that it's in his head, and I called it after that, like 3 in a row of second places, that the next cut event he would fall on his face. He did. He looked terrible the week after that. I just can't get on him, and I think it's in his head right now. So I'm out on Tony. I'm in on Cantlay. I'm in on Spieth. That's probably most of my exposure to the 9K range.
No Webb?
Nah, no Webb. No Webb for me.
You know, a lot of people talk about Webb, but he really has not put it together since January has come. Like, he's had flashes, but he hasn't put together a whole 4 rounds.
Personally, I'm on Webb. It's going to be a tougher week. Greens are firm. Should be a little wind and rain. I think if this winning score is in like the 13 to 15 range instead of 20, 18 to 20, I think Webb's a guy who can contend pretty easily.
So we didn't talk about the wild card in this whole thing is which Brooks Koepka shows up at 9,200. I mean, if you want to get a guy that could win the whole thing at 9,200, we don't even talk about him.
I know. He's coming off injury. He's been rehabbing. He hasn't played in a couple months. don't hate it. Anybody else on him?
I'm not playing him either, but I'm like, it wouldn't shock me if all of a sudden I tune in on Sunday and he's in the lead.
Yeah, if I was playing more than like 3 lineups, he'd definitely get some exposure. But he even with the question marks coming in, he's still sitting at 13.6% projected ownership. It's just a little high for me with a guy with the question marks.
Yeah, I'm not playing him. I'm worried that he's going to WD in the middle of it. So,
yeah, fair question. Let's keep on moving, guys. Right along.
Go back. I get one more for you.
All right. What you got?
Because no one's talking about him. Colin Morikawa.
Oh.
Okay, he had his first exposure to Augusta last November. He's the best ball striker, iron player in the world right now. And he's at 10% ownership, 9.8%. He's a great leverage play in a giant GPP.
I love Morikawa as a golfer, and I play him a lot. And I'm not going to play him this week. The putting has gotten better, but I'm not sold on it yet. And I think in this course, you're going to have to make a few putts. And I hate relying on that and using that as my excuse not to use it. But I look at him at 9,600. I feel so much better just spending $200 more on 9,800 Patrick Cantlay. Then I feel a lot better spending $200 less on Jordan Spieth. So that's why I think Morikawa's ownership is going to be low.
I'm not on Morikawa either, but real quick, we haven't even talked about Patrick Reed yet. The guy won the tournament 3 years ago. He's been playing pretty well this spring. Why is there no talk about this guy?
The one problem with Reed, right, his distance has dropped, though, since he's won that thing, right? He's not hitting the balls far off the tee. And that probably – I think when you're Patrick Reed, anything short of your game being perfect, you're not going to win. And I think in this field, with all elite golfers, I think he can compete. I just think it comes up short.
Comes up short of what you need out of him at 9,300?
At 93, you need a top 10, right? I think he's right around there.
Could be. Yeah, I'm not on him. I just think it's curious that no one's talking about him.
Yeah, I mean, I've read probably 3 or 4 articles and listened to a couple of podcasts over the last couple of days, and I mean, a mention here or there, but nobody's nobody's riding them. I don't know. All right, well, let's keep moving, guys. The 8,000 range here. You've got Hatton, Westwood, Hovland, M, Berger. You know I love Scotty, so Scotty's going to find a way into lineups for me. We just keep waiting, Adam. I feel like we talk about Daniel Berger every week, and I feel like he just hasn't been there. Where are you at with Berger?
I like Berger this week. I like the way he's been trending at Augusta in particular. Maybe not the last couple of years, but overall, yeah, he just won. He just won at Pebble, man. Mm-hmm. He's been there. He's been playing great golf for the last 6 months. But I love Hovland at 8,700. I think he's a great bargain, as great of a ball striker as he is.
The only thing with Hovland is the course experience, right, coming into play. And with him and Zalatoris, I think that's the only negative, because we'll talk about Zalatoris. His price is way low, but that's the only thing I worry about those two guys. But, hell, like in this one, I think I'm going to get low ownership on a guy playing really well, $100 away, and Lee Westwood, who's played this course and played well.
Yeah, I like the wily veterans. I like the guys that have been there. I like the guys that aren't going to bow to the pressure. I really don't like the young guns in the Masters. I don't think it's worked out well, overall over the history. So, yeah, I like Westwood a lot there. I like these wily old veterans. Mark, what do you got down here?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I like Westward in this range. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like most of these players are overpriced in this range. I think, Sanjay, Scheffler, Hovland, I just feel like they're overpriced. I would prefer playing them if they were in the high 7s.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of great value to be had. And what you're saying is, it's not necessarily that it's a bad price for them. It's just that there's really nice value in that 7s and even the top half of the 6 range, that there's almost no reason to go here. It's better to pay up for a couple guys. What do you think, Tony?
Yeah, I agree. There's one guy that also intrigues me in the 8s that a lot of people are actually talking about. He plays well again, and he doesn't win, but he's played very well over here. He's been here for 4 or 5 weeks. Fitzpatrick, right? $8,100. He has 3 top 10s out of 11 starts over here. He's been made the cut 8 out of 11 times. He's a guy that intrigues me at $8,100.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I had the same thought pre-show when I was looking over some of these guys. He's definitely intriguing. One guy we haven't even mentioned in the 8Ks is your boy Cam Smith Danger. Guy's finished top 5 here twice in the last 3 years. He's also got some great form coming in. What are your thoughts on Mr. Cam?
I mean, I can't play a week of golf without a Cameron in my lineup. So I just got, Tringali did me pretty well. It would have been nice if he held on to the lead for me. But Cam's probably going to be up there in the top Cam picks for me.
Who are the other Cams?
I don't know. Is there any other Cams?
Cam Champ.
Yeah. I got to guess.
The Fitzpatrick, right? Fitzpatrick comes in there with 3 top 10s in his last 3 tournaments and 6 top 20s in his last 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's one thing you've seen in past years is guys that contend have typically they've played well in weeks upcoming or leading up to, I should say, the Masters. So I do like the guys with some form coming in. He certainly checks that box. And then there's one guy here in the 7K range that is just, I believe, extremely mispriced.
I think he's going to be the highest owned if it's the same guy I'm thinking about. I think he's going to a $7,700 golfer is going to be the highest owned this weekend.
It doesn't make any sense, but how do you pass on him?
That's what I mean. And here's the thing, and I try to preach this to people. Don't get off him because he's going to be owned 30% if you think he's going to do well, and that's Paul Casey. Because all you need is one person in your lineup to be different, and that creates differential. You don't need 6 different golfers, and people get carried away with that.
Yeah, I know. People will look at the top end and go, "Oh, I'm going to take Rory and whoever, like another low-owned guy up top, and then I'm going to go with all these pivot plays." Like, play the best players. It's pretty simple. You can differentiate in 1 or 2 spots and be fine.
I mean, the model that I built had basically Cantlay, Casey, and Spieth, my top 3 players, and I like all 3 in my lineup.
Yeah, I have Casey's number 2 in my model, and I love him. I have him in all my lineups currently. You can't beat the price on him at $7,700. This is a player that I would pay $8,500 for.
Exactly what I was thinking.
He's very well priced, and yeah, he's going to be in the top 3, top 4 owned players. But Tony brought up the best point. You need to find a differentiator, but you don't have to do it for every single position. You just need to find that one.
Yeah, and the thing I look at is down here in the 7K range, how many guys do you look at that have a legit shot of winning? Of course, Louis Oosthuizen, he's got a shot. He's 7,500.
No, he's dead to me.
I was wondering,
he's dead to me, Adam.
Louis,
he's dead to me. He's dead to me after withdrawing at hole 1 a couple weeks back.
Whatever. I had him in my lineup too. I had him 100% owned. I was very upset, but I forgive him. I saw some cute pics of him with his kids today. I'm back on him.
I'm telling you, man, this range is going to get a lot of play from me. I mean, I think Sergio is always a threat to go top 20. Paul Casey, I love. Louis Neiman, I think, has the skills to win here. Answer is a really nice young player. I mean, Zalatoris is number 1 in my model, but I just can't do it. He just doesn't have the experience. I can't do it.
I'm not sure I'm with you on Neiman. Neiman's got a very, very low ball flight, and guys that hit the ball high at this event are typically the players who tend to play well over the course of time. So, very little course history. He's played here once and was cut. I don't like Neiman at all.
He's been scoring though.
Yeah,
he's been scoring.
I just don't like his fit for his game here.
There's one player I didn't get on until today, and I'm like, nobody's talking about him. And that's Adam Scott. He's 11 for 11 in making the cut of the Masters. He won in 2013. He has 7 top 20s, and he came tied for 13th at the Honda. Nobody's talking about him, and he's $7,600.
Yeah, that's a great call, especially at the Masters. Gotta love the course history.
Yeah, man. All right, Tony, you're the official Billy Ho whisperer.
So yeah, you go back up a little bit. Let's talk about Zalatoris.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Zalatoris is a guy that's not in many of my lineups, but in some of them that I've put in like $3 lineup where I have 20 entries, I sprinkle in Zalatoris and Billy Horschel, to tell you the truth, because I think Zalatoris is way underpriced. I think sometimes you have to get to a time where you price and force. And I look at the price on Zalatoris and I look at Max Homa, who's playing as good as anyone right now at 7,100. You know what? They don't have great course history. They don't have the metrics that make them here. But here's what I know is they're not 7,300 and not 7,100 golfers with Zalatoris and Homa. So I'll sprinkle them in if I go multi-entries.
I mean, Zalatoris number one in my model, Tony. It's just hard for me. You know, you're right. I think I probably should sprinkle him in there. I'm probably only going to play 3 lineups. But he is number one in the model. Sometimes you got to just go with it.
I mean, he's a rookie here. If you're only playing 3 lineups, I wouldn't play him. But if you're playing 10, throw him in 1. Yeah, absolutely.
No, I like some of the wily veterans a little lower than this. You know, guys I know I can get that top 50 without blinking.
Top 50.
You gotta make the cut if you're gonna go dumpster diving, bro.
It's not good enough. Like, what do you need out of Will Z to give you a great tournament? Like, if he finishes top 25 on the leaderboard, and the guy makes a ton of birdies, he's 5th in approach. Mm-hmm. If he just putts reasonably well this week, he's going to make a lot of birdies. If he makes the cut, I think he'll pay off his salary. So I do like Will Z at 73. I'm not on Homa, though. Homa I've talked myself out of a little bit.
You liked him yesterday. How quickly he turns.
Yeah, first look maybe, but I've dug a little deeper today. Which wily veterans are you referring to down here?
Well, we'll get there. They're not here yet. They're not here.
Okay, yet. So not Molinari, not Justin Rose.
Yeah, the thing with Zalatoris though, Adam, is it's going to be his first Masters, and we know these greens eat rookies alive. They just don't understand how these greens work. It usually takes a couple of rounds, and again, and one of the advantages that we have is we need to understand that this is not the November tournament. A lot of people are going to be playing players based on the tournament in November. It's a completely different course. And, so I can see a lot of these rookies getting played, and we can fade them and take advantage of that.
Potentially. With him, yeah, his putting's not great. It's definitely a course you want to play a few times to get the greens down, but he's also 5th in this field, in the best field so far this season outside of the players, and strokes gained approach. So he can place his approach shots in a more favorable position than not have to worry about the undulation of the greens. So I still like him at that price. If he was 8,200, 1,000 more, I'd probably be off him, but I think he'll pay off his salary.
Yeah, 11.5% owned right now. I don't think I can play him in more than a lineup or 2.
What's crazy to me is we talked about Paul Casey. I think will be the most owned. I think the $6,900 golfer is going to end up being the top 5 owned too. Corey Connors. Yeah, there's no way that he's not going to be at $6,900. We're talking. You talked about like the casual player that sees where he came in November is going to put him in there. And then the experienced players would say, hey, in his last 4 starts, he has 3 top 15s. He comes off 14th last week at Valero Open. Corey Connors at 6,900 is mispriced too.
Yep.
Yeah, he's number 10 in my model. We talked about him last night being, unbelievable that he's under 7K. Even in this field, unreal.
To me, Connors, and I've liked Connors for a while. I followed his career pretty closely. Danger knows I have a little bit of an affinity for him. But if he just putts reasonably well this week, he's such a phenomenal ball striker that it's another guy kind of like Casey at this salary. How does he? Yeah. You see him paying off his salary, at least half the time, right? He's just a very safe bet down here, it seems like.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. And I think that's where you start. When you guys are building your lineups out there, people, you don't start picking Dustin Johnson or John Rahm. Start with Corey Connors, Paul Casey, and then work it out.
Yeah, totally agree. Start at the bottom and then find the studs you want to mix and match in there.
Yeah, for me, I kind of like Matt Kuchar down here at under 7,000. He played well in the match play. I like the veteran players. I like him.
Speaking of playing well recently, Gary Woodland had a top 10 last week.
Yep, I would. Matt Kuchar, I thought he was done, and he's played well, and you got to look at that price at 6,800. And again, if I had played 3 lineups, he's not in my lineup. If I'm playing multiple entries, you got to sprinkle him in once or twice.
It's hard not to, right?
Yeah.
Who else down here, fellas? Any love for Mr. Mickelson? A little lefty love.
None.
Nope, I don't. He can't keep up.
Here. I just like to, try to get Adam to do anything besides shake his head when I bring him up.
I've heard some chatter about. I've heard some chatter about Willett. He's not on my radar, but a lot of the talking head DFS players are chatting up Willett.
I mean, for me down here, Mark, I'm looking at this just a lot of times I disregard these stats that are up here, but when you sit down here and you're looking at per game scoring right here, 83 from Ryan Palmer, and he's all the way down here at 65.
Yeah, and he's been playing fairly well, but I don't know. I don't know if he's playing Masters well.
I redid the model, Adam, but I remember last night asking you that Matt Wallace jumped up in the model last night. He's not as high as the one I just built before the show here. Like he's number 16, but he was like number 5 in the one we built last night.
But still, at 6,400, we've talked about recent form. The guy's 9th strokes gained approach in his last 24 events, relative to guys in this field, and he just played great last week. Do I think he'll contend? No, but I'd be surprised if he missed the cut. And at $6,400, that's a guy that you kind of want in your lineup. No love for Sebastian Munoz. The guy.
I was just going to talk about that. I got him in a couple lineups. It's $6,700. There's a guy that coming off 19th, right, in the last Masters, and I think that he's a guy that would hit the top 20, right? And it wouldn't shock you. It wouldn't shock you if he didn't make the cut either. So I think there's high risk, high reward there. But I got him in a couple lineups.
That's my kind of guy, though. If we can get high reward out of a guy in the mid-6, like if he finishes 15th, 25th in DraftKings scoring, would you be shocked at all?
Not at all. That's what I'm saying. At 6,600, I misquoted 6,600. You've got to look at him.
Still, what about Carlos Ortiz? Like his approach game's been off a little bit, but he's a really solid putter. He's been trending well. Granted, the thing with Ortiz that scares me a little bit is, like we've talked about, that lack of course history. But when you get down here into this range, I'm willing to forego that rule and just say, let's play guys who can score.
Lanto Griffin popped in the model I made.
Lanto. I love Lanto.
Lanto's this year's Luke List, man.
That's fine. Get Luke List out of my life. I just can't do it anymore, man. Why do I tear up every time?
I don't know, buddy. I just don't know. I don't know what to say. Any love? Let's wrap this up, guys. So, any love for these deep bargain grabs? I mean, Zach Johnson's a guy I'm never afraid that if I need to dive that deep. I mean, I always like him in the big events. So, it's fine if you really got to go low. I don't mind him. I really want to love Brendan Todd. I really do. I don't know if I can this week.
Well, if you look at course history, you could always go Bernhard Langer, right? 29, 62, 38, cut, and 24th. So he's made the cut 4 out of the last 5 at 6,100. But if I was going to dumpster dive, Stuart Smith played decent golf this year, and he's only $6,100.
Mm-hmm. I could see Stewie making the cut.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. Wiley veterans, there's a couple of guys in Sink and Langer and Zach Johnson. These guys can make the cut, and they're almost complete bottom priced.
If someone won the Millionaire Maker and had Langer or Stewart Sink in the lineup, it wouldn't shock me in the least bit.
No.
Yeah, if they make the cut and that allowed you to pay up to 3 of the top 8 guys, then you won.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won. All right, well, guys, let's play the little game we like to play, shall we? We're going to go all the way back up to the top. Tony, you're our special guest this week. One player on the screen. One player. If you had to put your money on one player on the screen.
All right. So on this one, for me, I'll make it really easy. I'll go Dustin Johnson. I said it. People are off this guy. Every show I listen to is talking about John Rahm, DeChambeau, and Thomas. He's going to be lower owned than them. I'm not going to be the smart guy. I'm just going to be the guy with common sense and take the best golfer in the world.
I'm with you there, so I'll just skip me. Mark.
Yeah, I'm right on it. DJ right now is sitting at 11.8% ownership. How can you pass up that leverage in a large GPP? You have to play him.
Adam?
Yeah, I think my strategy, as Mark just said, in large GPPs is just foregoing the entire 10K range. Let's go Cantlay, start it off there, and roll.
I like Cantlay too.
I think if you go balanced lineup, Cantlay is a good place to start, or Spieth. Like if you want to go balanced lineup, make sure you get 6 of 6. You can get some quality golfers in there if you start with one of those guys. And if they won, you wouldn't be shocked.
Yep, not at all. Mark, what do you got here?
I'll be honest, I'm not playing anybody there.
All right.
What?
Skip. Adam, who's your favorite play here?
Mark's not playing anyone in this.
If you put me to favorite play, then I'm taking Cam Smith. But I don't plan on playing him.
Yeah, I'll go course history be damned. Let's go Victor Hovland, one of the best ball strikers in the field. Let's roll.
Tony?
I'm going to go with Fitzpatrick on his recent form out of this group here, and his price at 8,100 I think is almost criminal.
I like it. I'm with you on that. Move along. I'll take the lead on this one. Yeah, where do we stop? Right about there?
No.
Sure. Huh?
Yeah.
What did I miss? Fleetwood?
Sure. Yep.
Yeah.
No, Fleetwood's good.
There you go, right there.
Yeah, right there. I'll take the lead here. I think you're crazy. I'm going Neiman.
You are crazy.
I'll do a prop with you on that one. Top 40. I'm going to go no.
I like it. Adam, what you got here, buddy?
I mean, if you're going to give me the chance to do it, I'll take Paul Casey.
I like that too. I'm going to play him in there too. Tony?
I like Paul Casey, and that's who I got in most of my lineups. But if I was going to just go for another name, like I mentioned, Adam Scott is $7,600. His course history's here. He's coming off a good event, and I think he's not going to be well owned. I think we're going to get a guy that can slide by at 7,600.
Dig it.
Yeah. So Paul Casey for me. But since everybody's agreeing on that, Abraham Answer is in a lot of my lineups.
I like Abe. All right, I'm going to take Neiman out of there. You made me nervous, Adam. All right, Adam, go ahead here. Let's start at the top of Mr. Homa and down.
Maxi Homa and down. You know what? I'm not going to go with Coco. That's just too easy. Let's go. I mean, he's a great play. Don't get me wrong. I'll go with Coochie. I'm kind of with you on Cooch.
Yeah.
I hate him, but let's do it.
Coochie-coo. I'm with you. Tony.
All right, I'd go Connors here, but just for the sake of entertainment and give us people one guy that's criminally mispriced. He's dealt with injuries, but we've seen flashes. Then we've seen him fall apart again. But it wouldn't shock him. He showed up and played well, and he's played the course. Gary Woodland, $6,800. If you get a healthy Gary Woodland, he's going to do a lot better than $6,800.
I could dig it. Mark, I'm going to give you back-to-back here.
Oh, I mean, Coco's the obvious one, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to throw one out there. I was going to bring this up later in the show. Jason Kokrak. So he popped in number 6 in my model. I think he's a good flyer. I don't know how much I'm going to play him at this price. I wish he was at 6,500, but
I like it. All right, then hit me with one down here. Let's start at Siwoo.
Starting at Siwoo, huh?
I don't know. Where did we leave off? I'm sorry, I missed where we left off. Homa to Fratelli. Yep, Siwoo. Siwoo down.
In this range, I'm gonna have to go with Munoz.
I can dig it. Adam, what you got?
At least pronounce it right if you're going to take my guy. Sebastian Munoz. Yeah.
I just can't do the rolling in. I have trouble with it.
Munoz.
Fair enough. Tony.
All right. In this one, we've talked about a couple of the guys there, and of course, I'd go Munoz out of this group. And Ryan Palmer, I think it interests me, but I'll just bring up another name. Kevin Na. Actually, when I looked down at the price at $6,500, came in 13th in November, 46th prior to that, 55th. So he's made 3 cuts in a row. Kevin Na is another guy that's not going to make the cut or finish in the top 25.
Did Chris Emmerich PayPal you?
Yeah, the specter of esports Emmerich comes up.
Emmerich plays Na and Furyk in every tournament.
Yeah.
That's just what he does. I think I got to go Cam Champ. I got to keep a Cam, on at least mentioned. All right, last one. Let's just take a look at, Zach Johnson down. I like Zach Johnson, so I'm just going to go ahead and start with Zach Johnson. Tony, what do you think?
No, Zach Johnson's a safe play. Mackenzie Hughes intrigues me at 6,300. The interesting one, who I don't play because he's only good in Texas, but somehow he has made the cut every time in the last 5 years in this tournament, is Jimmy Walker.
Jimmy Walker has
a 60th, 36th, 20th, 18th, and 29th his last 5 appearances in the Masters.
Interesting. Mark, what you got here? Deep diving.
I have to go with Hughes in this range.
Okay, Mackenzie, hell of a putter. Adam, I'm going to give you the remainder. What you got?
Here's the crazy thing.
Go
Out
ahead,
of that
Tony.
field, right? Not one of us mentioned Henrik Stenson. We're talking about 5 years ago, one of the top golfers in golf, right? How far has he fallen?
3.
Oh yeah, he's horrible right now.
I'm not even giving him a second look. That's how bad he's been.
Can he qualify for the Champions? Can he just go away?
He's not old enough yet. Speaking of old, though, I got to go with Bernard Longer, man. He's made 4 of the last 5 cuts, finished top 30 last year. I don't care if he's 60, whatever. Like, he's my dad's age, but
yeah, I like him.
Let's do it. Let's go Longer.
I like him. All right, well, look, guys, we got some really nice names in my little lineup I built here with Johnson and Fitz, Kuchar, Casey, Connors. We still have $9,000 left. So, yeah, man, you can get some value. You can play some mid plays. You can pay up for a few guys. I come up here and I could take Mr. Hovland and make Adam happy. And look at that. That's a pretty sexy looking lineup.
That's gross.
Play Webb.
Yeah, I'm not playing Webb.
Hovland's gross.
Forget your Webb. Forget your Webb, my friend. Forget it. All right. Well, that's all I've got for y'all. I appreciate you tuning in. I think maybe we'll put out a graphic or an article. Maybe we'll bother Tony to join in and put a little quick picks out for everybody by tomorrow, late afternoon or early evening, and our final thoughts. So we are Draft for Upside. This is In the Cup with special guest Tony Sincata. We appreciate you all joining us, and we will see you after the Masters. Good luck, everyone.
Cheers.